Hello again, I am T and welcome to my party. So last time we finally finished our bike, or we're almost done finishing our bike. We flirted with Chiemi. She was like, yeah, I'll come with you. Let me go get my stuff. Then we were left alone for a while. And now we're getting some spooky, scary stuff happening. And we heard a voice. So let's press on and see what that voice was, shall we? Okay. Someone was singing. It was an intricate little girl's voice. I stopped my work. Before I knew it, I'd put my tools down and gone looking for the source. Was I that starved for human presence? Or did the malaise make me feel like I was in danger? I walked down the hill to where the song came from. Passing the tall grass, I arrived. It was a strange sight. The field was covered in tall grass. There were countless rocks peeking out of it. Unlike the boulders all over Yasumizu, these ones were only up to my waist. They looked like gravestones. A ray of bricks. The field extended to a dusky western sky before it ended off a cliff. This was the lowest spot in Yasumizu, the border to the Serenaga. There was a large pine right at the edge. The evening sun, the stones, the pine shadows gave the field a strange aura. A little girl was running through it. Her steps were awkward. At this moment, the space was alien. I felt like I was looking at the Giorgio de Chirico painting. The place felt like it didn't belong in this world. Suddenly, I came to understand that this place was special. It was a sacred, mystical ground where no outsiders were welcome. The girl fell.
大丈夫?
Are you okay? I run with no hesitation. The little girl. Help. Help up, half crying little girl, muddy clothes. New graze, a band-aid covered kneecap. I console. Little girl, push away. Run. It's like a cheat code. New cheat codes. Someone. Appears. Girl, saw me once. Prepare for the feast when the evening mists arrive. Girl, weave, incomprehensible phrase, hide behind, little girl, fear, hostility, eyes. Run. Girl, hug, little girl, warn. Me? You probably won't make it. But, run. I'm doing bee poetry. Girl, me, girl behind mist? Mist. Me, girl behind mist. Mist. Sierra mist. Mist. Me, girl behind mist. Mist. Ah, mist. Mist. Me, turn around. Run. Where? In a daze, I came back to the plaza. Suddenly, Chiemi shook me, bringing me back to my senses. Where were you?
ごめん。
Sorry, I'll
すぐ
finish
作
the
業に
job
戻る
now.
から。
It's too late, you idiot! You won't make it in time! You've gotta hide! I couldn't understand what she was getting at. What are you doing? Go to your room right now. But Haruaki-san's still... Forget the outsider. Old man Kanzo and I'll check the other places. Stop wasting time and go back to yours. I gave him the accent. I couldn't understand. What are these two doing? What scared them so much? It didn't take long for me to find out. I looked down the hill. From the Saranaga behind the field I'd just been in came a rising haze. It was so dense you could easily call it mist. It moved strangely like a living creature, as it floated in the plaza. Haruaki-san, over here! Shammy pulled me by the hand. What's going on? My head. Feels like it weighs a ton. Deal with it! You gotta find a place so you can lock the doors. You'll die if you don't. What do you mean? Please don't ask questions. Just do as I say. Just this once. I'll bet hesitantly I did as she said. We ran up the hill and crossed a rice field path until we made it to a simple outhouse. This should be fine. Seriously? What's going on here? And sure, that was a hell of a mist, but this won't protect me, right? Listen, there's no time to explain, so please, just do as I say and only that. Get in there, lock yourself in, stay inside the whole night, and don't make a sound. My mind was pretty clear by this point, so much that I began to wonder why it was clouded until now. Because of that, I could easily understand exactly what Chiemi just said, despite how weird it was. I could also see she was really desperate. I think I'll... yeah, outhouse. Now, that's a hell of an order. Haruaki-san. Just so you know, pulling that off is pretty hard. When I do, I'd like a good reward and an explanation. Sure, I'll tell you everything. So please, survive the night. The words, the teary smile, none of it looked fake. See then, you gotta hurry, right? Yep, Haruaki-san. What? I'll tell you tomorrow. Leaving me one hell of a homework assignment, Chiemi ran off. The plaza was covered in the mist by now. I could see it rising and taking over the fields, too. Anyway, a promise was a promise. Ten minutes later, I began to wonder what I was doing. Was I really supposed to spend the night here? This outhouse wasn't a prefab you'd find in construction sites. It was just a shack built by hand. It merely happened to have a toilet unit installed. It was Japanese style, so I couldn't even sit down. All I could do was stand. Another problem, it was the type of toilet that periodically had to be pumped empty, so the smell was really bad. Sure, there was a cover on the toilet unit, but without any kind of air freshener anywhere, the smell of ammonia could only do so much. The only good thing about being here was that if I had to go to the toilet, well, mission complete, but what of it? Again, was I really supposed to spend the night here? The question quickly made me realize how stupid this was. I began making assumptions to make this easier for myself. Was I being pranked, or was everyone here just crazy? Hell, the mist had already filled the surroundings, and there was no way that shabby outhouse protected me from it. The air here already felt misty and damp. The temperature here was low, so I could still bear it somewhat, but staying here all night would make me all wet. Again, I wasn't safe from the mist here. That considered, I'd probably be better off sleeping in the grass outside than staying here. The reasonable part of my mind urged me to stop playing along with these hicks. However,
今から人はここに入って
get in there and
鍵を
lock
かけて
yourself in and
絶対
stay
に
inside the
物
whole
音一つ
night.
立てないで
Don't make a sound. There's going to be a few flashbacks coming up, and I'm not going to voice them again because I just don't feel like it. Because it hurts sometimes. But you heard me say it, and flashbacks are redundant, and deal with it. Sorry.
いいよ全部話すだから今晩を生き延びて
My sense of duty made it hard for me to break the promise I'd made her. Actually, that wasn't quite true. I was more intrigued by the prospect of learning more about this place. Anyway, I took the time to compile what I found out that day. Today. This was the Yasumizu settlement, a special part of Fujiyoshi. It was settled right next to the Saranaga Rapids. The people living here were Chiemi Serizawa, Yasunaga Oribe, his family Kawari Oribe and Yashisugu Oribe, Chikimochi Kamushida, Haru Makishima, her granddad Kanzo Makishima, Kei Yamawaki, Takumi Muro, Kiyonosuke Nosato. It seemed like he was from the Kamafuji Yoshi, a place on the other side of the mountain, but for some reason he lived here now. And finally, the old man who cried wolf. Those were the 11 people I'd met, and Chiemi said I had 2 more left. That could only mean that the 2 I'd met by the pond were the ones. The little girl, she was probably the child that strayed into the Saranaga yesterday morning for all. And then there was the fantastical-looking white-haired woman clad in this strange clothing. She was probably the one I'd seen this morning. The fact I'd seen her twice made it likely that she indeed was real, but with how mysterious this place was, I could rule out the possibility she was an illusion. According to Chiemi, the little girl was being looked after by someone in the village, so I can only assume that meant the white-haired woman was the one. If I counted the little girl, it meant that Yasumizu had 13 inhabitants. Then there were the 2 journalists, Hisako Mamiya and Yoda Yashimoto. Add me to that and you had a total of 3 outsiders, but I'd put that aside for now. Anyway, time for an assessment. Yesterday morning, a little girl strayed into the Saranaga. To make it worse, no one, not even herself, knew anything about her. She instantly got branded as an ill omen. The next day, Chiemi, who was in the Saranaga for some reason, found me there. They recognized me as a proper lost person, but since I came through the Saranaga, I was branded as an ill omen. From what Kiyonosuke Nasatoshi said, it was safe to assume that they used to be customary to throw people like us into the Saranaga. And then there was the mist. The girl said something mysterious. Prepare for the feast when the evening mists arrive. I could only assume it was related to the same superstitions. After all, the mist came from the Saranaga itself. It and the river seemed to be central to the local customs and ideas. With that in mind, how was it dangerous? What was going to happen now? Yomibito as in people from the Yomi? The ancient Japanese land of the dead? Dead people came back from the Saranaga, and they were corrupted? Well, that gave room for some wild ideas. Was there some sort of pathogen in the Saranaga that rose up with the mists? Did it turn people into zombies? Was that about to be part of a Japanese Resident Evil? Wait, that was already Japanese. What if you had a 10% chance to be infected by the mist, but a 100% chance to be infected by another person? That explained why everyone had to isolate themselves like this. If I became a zombie, I probably wouldn't have the mind to unlock the door. So basically, by locking myself in here, I was quarantining myself. I hadn't put that much thought into that, but it seemed like a good story. Sure, stuff like the boulders and the wolves didn't fit anywhere into my idea, but it was still interesting. Then again, I knew this was Hicksville and all, but would a superstition like But would a superstition that science could explain so easily really survive the modern world? It seems so weird.
今から一晩ここに入って鍵をかけて
It's a
絶対
flashback.
に
Stay
物音一
inside,
つ立てないで
dumbass. Don't make a sound? To be frank, the reason why I spent so much time on these delusions was because I was scared of things I don't know or understand. You know, like most people. In the past, people used to attribute stuff like natural phenomena and diseases to gods, devils, yokai, then do nothing but fear them. They were scared of these manifestations of monsters and whatnot, but on the other hand, it was better than not seeing or knowing what they really were. The fact that you could die to these things you couldn't see or understand made life really unreasonable and unfair. That was why it was very logical to give names and mental images in order to recognize and memorize them. My fear of things I didn't know was the same, except I wasn't satisfied with just labels or hypotheses. I needed to reach the truth. That aside, what I was feeling right now wasn't fear of the unknown. It was a realistic, practical fear of something that could endanger my life.
今から一晩ここに入って
What did I
鍵をかけて
say?
絶対に
Lock yourself
物音一
in,
つ立てないで
dumbass. That meant that outside lurked something dangerous that could hear sounds. Perhaps it was the so-called dead that rose up from the river? Or maybe, assuming I was right with my Saranaga sickness theory, it was the people who came out and beat the shit out of all the diseased who didn't follow the rules. The wolf is coming. Maybe the wolf was the title given to the killer? Suddenly, I heard a scream in the distance. Disregard the symbols on the side of the screen, because, like I said, I already went through this, and when I first went through, I didn't have the key to keep still. So, for the sake of showing you guys the path, I'm gonna go take a look. I'm just gonna take a peek outside. Wow! That was some timing. Right as I was about to form a new hypothesis, the proof connecting to it all suddenly came to me. It was right outside. It had gotten really dark. There were no lights anywhere. The darkness was fear, unperceived, unknown, dangerous, scary. Leaving this place was dangerous, scary. Scary things were scary no matter what, how much logic, or scary things were scary no matter how much logic you applied. But I couldn't discard my desire to know the fear and conquer it. I opened the door and stopped in place. The night was in absolute darkness. No matter how dark or cloudy it was, the sky always gave some bit of light to us. However, I came to understand that it could be hard to see even if there was light. Everything I saw was covered by a thin mist. Combined with the pale moonlight, it made the area seem milky. It made it hard to get around, regardless. I couldn't ignore the scream. There was something beyond this veil. I kept moving forward. Unless my ears were deceiving me, the scream belonged to a woman and had come from the night. Right. I couldn't let myself think that. Or rather, I didn't want to think that. The unknown was scary. Personally, I found that principle made my life really easy. I had more than enough fear from those which were directly threatening my life. I really didn't want to have the fear of losing someone as well. Change your lives of thought, Haruaki. Solving the mystery might save someone. 2 birds, 1 stone. I began walking faster. Another scream. It was close. I realized I had to find a way to protect myself. I was unarmed, so I looked around for anything I could use as a weapon. I felt around to see if there were any branches or anything. Sadly, all I felt was grass. I went deeper and searched the ground itself. Soon I felt something hard. It was a rock. A moment of digging later, I took it in hand. It was a bit smaller than my hand. I almost teared up how useless it seemed, but it was better than nothing. I looked at the base of my feet and saw the grassy ground. I could easily move forward if I checked the ground using my feet. And since I might have been close to the danger, I had to focus on what was ahead, too. I'd recognize the danger and, if possible, get rid of it. I concentrated entirely on that and stepped forward. I couldn't hear the screams anymore, but I could hear other things. A wet sound. Whap, whap, whap. Macaroni in the pot. And then the sound of something cracking. Just fresh ground pepper, baby. It filled my mind with countless things I didn't want to imagine. Even so, I kept walking forward, until I saw it. Oh. My hypotheses were nothing but delusions. The truth was truly something you had to see for yourself. But why? Why was this so scary in spite of being true? It wasn't supposed to exist. It couldn't exist. After all, it was a wolf with a humanoid body. And there's no such thing as werewolves. The next morning, in a paddy field in Fujiyoshi Yasumizu, 3rd block, someone discovered a thoroughly mangled corpse. The clothes nearby led the discoverers to conclude that it was the traveler Haruoki Musashi. He's still moving! Strangely enough, I could perceive this particular moment. Hey, Yamibiku! Purge him! And so, goodbye, Haruoki-san, was finished off by the girl. The feast begins. The last thing I heard, I'll hang the wolf, was that it's a raging loop. And so, yeah, this is the first, quote-unquote ending. This is a bad ending, but I obtained the key. Game over. Bad ending number 2. I told her that I would stay in the outhouse, and I didn't, because I was a hero, and that was stupid. Name of the game, kids. Don't be a hero. Just listen to whoever tells you to stay in an outhouse and just do it. I'm not going to watch the hint corner because I don't want hints. Because obviously I just didn't have the key to stay inside. I mean, technically I did, but I wanted you to see this because this is what I experienced yesterday, and I was like, what? I died? But then I got the key and figured out that that's what I needed to progress on. Guess it was just a dream, right? Do better next time. 1 sheep, 2 sheep. And then it's the day again. Back to Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. And I decided that because I died, and this is technically a new life, or not really a new life, but I woke up from a dream, that I was going to stop using the accent, and I was going to make him actually a city man. And I was kind of channeling that city man. I closed in on the side of the road and killed the engine. Kind of like that. Something a little cooler, something more, what is his name? The all right guy. Something still with an accent, but because the village are Hicks, I'm gonna switch it, give them more accents, and give him that stereotypical city boy. So, as we begin, this is all the same, and I'm just going to be going to the decisions because going over this again is too much for my poor little tea throat. I still can't access the memory, so forget it. I'm just gonna keep driving down this road, you know. That band said, just driving to forget. Blah blah blah, yes, we're gonna drink. You're such a nice lady. Why are you doing this? I'm gonna call her a thirsty perv this time and see what happens.
ピンポーン正解です
You're right! I think every answer she's gonna say you're right, because I said that she needed an alibi and she was like, you're right! Woohoo!
まるでエッジ漫画のよう
It's
な
like a
展
porn
開
manga!
正解おめでとう
Congratulations! Now bring it
さあ
on!
かかってこい
だが待ってほしい。迷った先で
Hold
好
up.
都合な展
I
開
know
と
how
い
this
うの
story
は
goes.
物語
People
上
who get lost or
明ら
stumble
かに
upon
後々
something
ガクッと落とす
never
ため
end
の
up
前振りであ
well.
る。
確
Oh,
かに
that's true! You
狐
could
に
be
化か
getting
され
tricked
た
by a
とか
fox.
亡霊
I mean,
つまり
it might
私
be a
に語
ghost
り
out
殺
to
された
curse
り
you.
とかシャレに
Or
なら
you're
ない
about
病
to
気を
catch
移さ
some
れた
bad
りとか
disease.
そうそう。
Exactly.
テレレレレテレレレレテレレレレテテレレレレさあ世にも奇妙な扉を開こうぜ
Now come, let's open this path and see where it
やめ
goes.
とく。
Nope.
が
Oh no. That's it. I think she just gives a different explanation and just is silly. But cute fun part. And we move on. Oh, skip. Skip. I'm done here. Let me skip. Yes, I know she's attractive. And we're not going to be lewd because that's gross. Don't hook up with strangers you barely know who save you from a creepy haunted river. And we are a-going. Oh man, it's creepy. Look at these kids. They suck. You're impure. How dare you? You're an ill omen. Blah blah blah. Or he's an ass. And mom. And he's an ass. And most people here are jerks. And I'm a jerk. And oh jeez. And we're going into the outhouse. Sorry, my summary isn't quite good.
また
Oh
とんでも
man, that's one hell of an order. Gee. Oh, what could it be in here? So, now I can actually keep still and not be a dumbass and do the one thing she said not to do. Alrighty, let's go. What was that? It sounded like someone's life was in danger. It meant something dangerous was nearby. Wait, I couldn't be rash. The world didn't have many things that logic couldn't explain. Like the existence of murderers. But until I saw the source of the scream myself, it was nothing but a source of fear.
今から人はこ
Get
こ
in
に
the
入って鍵
outhouse,
をかけて
dumbass!
絶対に
Dumbass.
物音一つ立てないで
I reached to open the door, but something stayed my hand. It was my promise to Chiemi. But that scream just now was very real. It wasn't normal. I had to assume the situation was dangerous. Maybe I could help if I went out. But that meant endangering myself. I was no saint. I had no plans to rectify that. If there was something that could get me to walk out, it would be curiosity. My curiosity had won over many dangers thus far. But right now, it was weaker than my fear of risk of death. And risk of death. Why? Because I already knew. Flashback! Shit, what the hell were these memories? It wasn't a premonition, a dream, or anything else that vague. My brain recognized it as something I experienced. But how? After all, I was still alive. The time from those memories had yet to come. Was I a precog or something? My god, I swore I'd never experienced anything like this before coming here. Why did the memory come back to me at this particular moment? Regardless, that overwhelming fear and the pain and death that followed, were exactly what waited for me when I opened the door. I couldn't feel more certain of that. The thoughts rendered me unable to move. Immobile. I stood still, completely certain that I lost my chance to leave. I wasn't child enough to sneer at the selfish decision, but this still didn't feel good. Not to mention I was upset at myself for not being able to act like me and just run out simply because I got curious. I didn't even feel saved until that moment. What moment? Oh no, it's the end of the episode. So we will find out soon what that moment is. So I will see you next time, and goodbye.